Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, we're currently 29 days away from the 2024 presidential election. This is the home stretch. This is where it's going to be won. And Donald Trump needs to cross 270 electoral votes to become president of the United States. And we know, according to polling, according to, some very preliminary early data that we have in North Carolina and Georgia, seems like the turnout dynamic is going to give Donald Trump a boost in those two states, which means he can win the election if he just gets the state of Pennsylvania, which is 19 electoral votes, which is the most electoral votes out of any swing state in the entire country. And we have to talk about some polling that came out of some bellwether counties in Pennsylvania. You're talking about Northampton County, you're talking about Erie County, and both of these counties went for Obama in 2012, they went for Donald Trump in 2016, and then they went for Joe Biden in the 2020 election. There's polling out of both of these counties. Somebody has a lead. We're going to touch base on who that individual is. But really quickly, I have to tell you guys about shop.redeaglepolitics.com because the 2024 election merchandise drop is here. We have the Donald Trump mugshot design. We got the Make America Gain Again tank top design, great for the gym. We got the Make Cats Safe Again merch, which is a bestseller, and the Trump Iconic design. And my favorite is the Trump Iconic black mug, where you get the Trump Iconic bullet American flag design on the front and the inspirational quote on the back. It is all great quality merchandise. We are doing a special for a limited time. Free shipping on orders over $50 in the United States. And on top of that, you can buy one, get one 20% off all t-shirts, tank tops, and mugs. I highly recommend just taking a look at the site regardless. It's going to be in the description and pinned comment down below. So you have this map here. Pennsylvania would win the election for Donald Trump, assuming he gets North Carolina and Georgia. If he doesn't get those two states, it's going to be difficult for him to win. He could lose Georgia hypothetically and still win, but North Carolina, it does seem as if he's probably not going to lose it. There's questions about how the hurricane is going to impact voter turnout there. And while we don't really have any clear evidence that turnout is going to be significantly impacted at this moment, we're probably going to get a better picture of that in about 2 weeks when in-person early voting starts, and it is scheduled to open up in those affected counties in North Carolina, as well as certain parts of Georgia. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. But assuming that Donald Trump wins those states, Pennsylvania is the ball game. And before we get into this interesting poll, it's important to cover the fact that the mail in Pennsylvania keeps getting redder every single day. And this is absolutely huge. They gained 0.43% on net in the mail-in drop today. Democrats technically are increasing their raw vote totals in their firewall, which is expected because, the mail-in vote is overwhelmingly Democrat, but they're not really growing at a fast enough rate to even eclipse the firewall in 2022, let alone the firewall in 2020. And obviously, 2020 was a pandemic year. I understand that. You have a lot of people on the Democrat side who will vote on election day in comparison to the 2020 election, but still, if you compare it to 2022, which again, it's a midterm year, but the bottom line is that Republicans, their turnout's up in the mail-in vote and the Democrats are down. So the fact that they're not doing so well compared to 2022, even taking into account the fact they're likely going to surpass their totals, that's a very low turnout election. Where you already had a lot of Democrats switch to voting in person. That's not really a good sign for Democrats. Regardless of the spin that we will see, that's not exactly a good sign. And then from 2020, Democrats are down significantly, and less mail-in voting means that Democrats, they're going to have to find these voters. Turnout's going to drop across the board, but will it drop more on the left than on the right? It's very possible. But regardless, the one thing we're seeing is that we have these battleground state polls out of these counties that have swung with the winner since 2008, and now Donald Trump has a lead. Now, I will say county polling is either very accurate or very inaccurate. There really is no in between. And what we do know is that Donald Trump leads in these two counties by 1%. And when you look at the swingometer, and this is important because this election's going to be won by turnout. It's going to be won by turnout overall. You could see Erie County went for Biden by around 1 with the 2020 demography, and Northampton County went blue by around 0.7%. And when you talk about that white working class vote, Harris just dropping, 2-3 points, Trump making up some ground just because Joe Biden was a better fit for those voters than somebody like a Kamala Harris, Donald Trump is going to gain significantly out of the gate. Now, it's true that with these white college graduate voters, Harris may make some gains. By how much, we could, question that. But still, it's very likely that Harris, she probably loses, a little bit of ground with black voters. According to most polling, that's the case. And polling this late in 2020 didn't quite show it. It's very likely that the polls are overestimating Trump's support in some of these polls that we see with these crosstabs, but still, it's a little bit besides the point. The Hispanic vote likely does move to the right in the state of Pennsylvania. So, you could adjust for the turnout, but just doing that would give Donald Trump the victory. But you look at Erie County and you look at Northampton County, it's roughly in line with what those polls are showing. It really is. And you could adjust the turnout, the relative turnout a little bit here and there. It's very likely black turnout dips, white working class turnout might take a slight dip compared to 2020, but still, is it really going to be enough? Who knows? We'll have to see. There's no guarantee of that anyways. The Trump base is fired up. But when you look at the counties and you see, Trump is up by, 1 to 2 points, in these counties, Donald Trump usually is winning the state of Pennsylvania. Now, I think he could very well be up by a little bit more, and it doesn't take into account potential swings in places like Philadelphia city proper, where it's the largest county in the state, and you will probably see a decent swing to Donald Trump. You're working with different dynamics here that could give Trump a little bit of a boost as well. So these counties may not even be direct bellwethers. But the fact that Donald Trump is, starting to turn a little bit of a corner in these bellwether counties, that's good news for him. That really is. And it's possible the poll's underestimating him. It really is. I just don't understand why so many people fail to understand that white working class voters are probably going to resonate with somebody like Joe Biden, who can play that moderate card, who people in Pennsylvania knew for decades and decades, than somebody like Kamala Harris, who is being branded and successfully branded as an out-of-touch San Francisco liberal. That's the way it goes. You have a lot of voters in northeastern Pennsylvania where they genuinely switched to Joe Biden in 2020, Scranton Joe. People fall for it. Obviously, Trump did better than, Mitt Romney significantly in those areas, and we know that. But still, Biden did have a unique point of strength. And I think if Biden was running for re-election, it would be gone because people have seen his policies. But Harris is directly tethered to those policies, whereas Joe Biden, the old Joe Biden, these people, grew up with when he was, quote unquote, the third senator of Pennsylvania, they're unfamiliar with Kamala Harris. And it's not like she's starting to run away with this election in the polling. She was leading in Pennsylvania. Now it's a tie. Sometimes, depending on the day, Trump has a narrow lead. And that's with polls typically underestimating Donald Trump significantly in the state of Pennsylvania. The same thing goes for Wisconsin. I think both of these states are going to vote fairly similar. High working class white population in the state of Wisconsin trending to the red. You have a similar phenomenon going on in the state of Wisconsin as it goes for, Arizona, the registration data, the final registration data. It supposedly is looking phenomenal for Republicans. They've gained significantly from 2020, and you can't really use the ancestral Democrat argument for registration data in Arizona the way you can in a place like Pennsylvania or even like North Carolina, because of the fact that in the state of Arizona, it's a state that's moving to the left. You would expect more Republicans leaving the party, but instead you see new Republicans and these new registrations. They are registering, and if we get them out to vote, it's going to be difficult for the state of Arizona to remain in the Democrat column. Similar thing with Nevada as well. but we'll have to see what happens on the Nevada front, on the Michigan front. But Pennsylvania, those key places, they kind of show signs of moving to the right. They tend to be microcosms of the state. They tend to be bellwethers of the state. You might even say Northampton County could even be like a bellwether of the entire country if you want to look at Northampton County and look at the relative demography of it. It's 54% working class white, which is the case of a lot of these, Midwestern areas that will dictate the election. On top of it, you do still have a sizable college white population. You also have a surprising amount of Hispanics. They're roughly 9% of the electorate in that specific county. So we'll have to see, guys. We have 29 days. And I recommend you guys watch my last video. It tells people how to get involved. Do your homework so you can make sure that we leave no stone unturned in this election so we can go out and win this election. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.